Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. I'm excited that you're here watching this video. You're probably going to see a familiar face, Lisa. Lisa's been in multiple of our past videos. Her and her husband, Jeff, moved to Costa Rica years ago, bought a really cute bed and breakfast, which I'll have linked below. She came on and we talked about a scam, we've had some really cool conversations on here, and they've had their neat experiences so far here in Costa Rica. And today we're going to talk about the other venture that she's been on, which I've always found really interesting. And she's been partnering with Penny. So you guys are going to get to know Penny as well. And a lot of what they're doing, I think, does align with, people who are relocating. I kind of gave your introduction a little bit, Lisa, but why don't you guys introduce, yourselves and tell us about what you've been up to.
Awesome. So we've been here for just about 2.5 years now, and we initially came from Canada, and we used to run a brick and mortar business where it was health coaching and nutrition and exercise and things. So once the pandemic hit, we transitioned, and I know we've had that discussion with Sarah Lena and in other interviews. And we moved everything to our online platform. And Penny and I developed all our online coaching programs through that. And since we've been down here working with clientele such as the expats and building out communities there. So right now that's where we're at. I know we're going to dive a little bit more into that, and that's a little bit of back history about myself.
Hi, so I'm Penny and also do the same coaching as Lisa, and it's more mindset based and lifestyle coaching. And I moved down August 5th, so I'm still new and still learning the ropes. and but it was the same. It was the same. I'm from north of Toronto, it's Richmond Hill, and it was the same idea. I had like full business, gung ho, seeing clients, doing online and personal, and I was an in-home training and coaching. And then the pandemic hit, and like the rest of the world, lost 80% of my business overnight. And then it was just like Lisa and Jeff came down here, and then Lisa and I reconnected, and then it was like talking about yoga retreats and our coaching, and then we decided to merge our businesses because we found that we found the gap that most people are missing with their health and wellness lifestyle and what they're trying to achieve. So we put both of our expertise together to help people fill in that missing gap in order to get success in what they're looking to do for their health and wellness.
I love this because, people move to Costa Rica a lot of times I hear people want to get healthier. They want to, live a more healthy lifestyle. And one of the things when we work one-on-one with people through our Relocate Now program and my new DIY Move to Costa Rica e-course, one of the first sections is all about mindset, because I think you have to have your mindset, you have to work on those things before you really embark on this whole process of moving. So I love that you guys have also paired that up, because just the health and wellness part of people want to become more healthy. And a lot of people are moving here for that as part of their reasons. And then also combining the mindset. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Coach Penny and I were just having a discussion before we jumped on, and we were talking about how a lot of people, when they make the move, and also too, a lot of the clients that we see in the community that we've started to create, thanks to you, Sarah. Actually, that's how it all sort of rolled out. We started to see that a lot of them are retirees too. And then it's the mindset, or it goes back to the question of like, who am I? Like I'm retired now. And a lot of the women too that we work with are in that void, in that gap of not, being able to identify with who they are, or feeling, lost, or just not connected to self. And when we talk about self, we talk about that inside person, like who is that person. And then the second part to that is, a lot of what we see is that a lot of the problems, issues, or challenges that people were dealing with in North America, they pack their bags and all their moving crates, and then they pack all that shit in their moving crates and bags, and they literally bring it with them. And then that can be so paralyzing in the sense that it's not creating any type of movement. It's allowing them to stay stuck where they're at and then spinning in that same mindset as you mentioned. And a lot of people will say, I don't really understand the mindset aspect, or what is that. It is about diving deep into what is coming up for you. What are those emotions? What things have you been avoiding and ignoring, over the number of years that, you're bringing to Costa Rica with you? And essentially, a lot of people want to come down and with the mentality of like, I want a clean slate, but that doesn't happen until you start diving into, what the fog is first. Like, why are you in the weeds, essentially? So part of the programming with the online coaching, we tackle that, that one particular pillar as well, which is, we call the mindset psychology. And Penny's back. Hey, Penny.
Yeah, she's back now. I love that too, because I feel like when people do move, sorry, my dog's barking at something. Azu. When people do move, well, a lot of times people move for a slower lifestyle, and then all of a sudden when you start to slow down, some of those things are probably going to start to come up. But yeah, people have more time to, and then maybe if they're not taking that time to process those things, or having good use of that time, then they might end up making bad use of their time too, and falling into more unhealthy patterns, or more of an unhealthy mindset even.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just give an example of a client, and a couple clients actually. I won't use their names because they're you'll know who they are, and they're connected in our community. But as an example, the one client came from Canada, and it was the same. Retired, not exactly sure who she was, because everything connected in Canada that's who she identified. That's what she identified with. And then once retired, came here, has health concerns, but, knows that she wants to work towards getting those health things under control. She had a laundry list of things that she wanted to work on. And then, so we took that client, she had, thyroid problems. She wanted to lose weight. There was a lot of mindset things going on, in the heart, in the mind, and those things weren't connecting. And so when we started to work with her, we showed her the different steps through the nutrition down here, how to gain control of your nutrition, and showing her what comes up for you when you have, as an example, cravings, or have as an example, you're feeling some sort of an emotion, but you're not exactly expressing those emotions or being aware of those things, and then you're turning to other addictions like sugars, or too much coffee drinking, or drinking too much wine, or whatever the case is, right? And then creating then the movement component as well, like moving your body. What does that look like for you here? And for that client, she had to recreate that whole new structure in Costa Rica, getting comfortable with stepping out of her box, first of all, and then second, recreating that whole lifestyle and routine in baby steps. And that's the super key point of it, is attacking it from a very messy action mindset, and nothing's perfect. And I know, Sarah, we've talked a lot in the past about, nothing is perfect. And down here, there's a different mindset mentality when it comes to things. So it's, tackling things at a very, slower pace, and taking your time to really adjust to what you're stepping into, because it is a completely different lifestyle from that aspect.
Totally. Absolutely. Well, Penny's back now.
I'm so excited. I missed most of it.
That's okay. No worries. We were tackling the mindset.
I know Lisa's got it. We work so well together as a team that I'm not concerned. I know exactly what she probably perfect.
You might have to have Lisa finish your sentences now too.
Yeah, exactly.
Just turn my camera back off. That will be.
Yeah, I know internet struggles. I've been having internet struggles for the last 2 weeks now, I feel like, and I don't know
Yeah.
why.
The last couple of days have been a little bit testy around here. So
Yeah. So why don't you tell me a little bit about, so like obviously you guys have come together to form this program. How does that work? Like what does that look like as of now? Like what are your main things that you guys are doing to help people?
Okay, so as like we were talking about, we were using some clients as some examples, like some current expats that we work with that have been going through our program. And so what the program looks like is that, you know, we structure it in a way that we focus on, you know, what your movement and exercise, you know, is going to look like. We focus on the nutritional component, and then helping people build out those habits bit by bit to help with their transition and change, depending on, you know, what they're focusing on. Now a lot of women and people, clients that we talk to, a lot of them want to lose weight. You know, there's a lot of, you know, focus around midsection body fat, but a lot of it, what they're focusing on is symptomatic, you know, which is pretty normal because that's, you know, with Western society and standards, you know, the systems look at that, you know, symptomatically what's coming up for you. Well, it's not, you know, essentially tackling the symptoms, is tackling what's the underlying issue, the root cause of the problem. You know, essentially. So Penny and I really, you know, we dig into that while focusing on, you know, what your goals are. So, yeah, we understand, yeah, you want to lose weight, or you want to reduce inflammation, or, you know, you're tackling some other medical, you know, condition like diabetes or pre-diabetes or whatever the case is. But we're also, you know, looking at tackling from a lifestyle standpoint what those underlying root causes are, so that you can build forward towards, as what we call your Mount Everest goals. And so tackling the movement component, tackling the nutrition, and then, as I was speaking about earlier, tackling the mindset psychology component of that, and diving into what that all looks like, and unraveling some of those things that have been knotted up inside you for so long. So when we look at it, we're looking at it really essentially from, you know, a 3-pillar system. So we take that program and we integrate that into the person's lifestyle for each individual. So not one size fits all. And this is where it's super key to understand that, you know, each client that comes to us, they're unique in themselves. So you're not taking like plan A and jamming it onto, you know, client B that does not even fit for that person. So everybody works at their own pace. Everybody has their own needs when it comes to nutrition. Everybody has their own needs and challenges and things that when it comes to movement. And then of course, like everyone has their own needs when it comes to that psychology, like what's been plaguing them for a number of years. And Coach Penny dives into a lot of this when she talks about, you know, big T traumas and small T traumas, and how they add up in a person's life, and then how they also then can really paralyze that individual from moving forward to their Mount Everest.
And then we also look at how that affects. Also, do we lose? So the protocols that we put in place are also individual. So even though the workbooks and the mindset work that we do to understand what the traumas are, it still comes up individual for each person. So, you know, and it doesn't have to be a trauma. People I say trauma and people think, oh, it's like, it's got to be something big and horrific and something that made the news. But, you know, small T traumas are like 1,000 paper cuts, and they add up. And when we talk about, for some people, when they talk about their anxiety and they pull what they were stressed and anxious about, and they pull that down here, when they be so serene and it's going to be perfect, where in reality, it's still the same issues that they're carrying, because it's like that suitcase of emotional baggage that it's still coming with you. It's where you put it down. And just because you land in Costa Rica doesn't mean that's not addressed. So when we talk about Lisa talked about getting to the root of the issue, which creates the weight gain, which creates the cravings, which creates all the inflammation, all of that also stems back from an emotional standpoint of what do you think you left behind to move down here with, and you didn't leave it behind. You just brought it and you ignored it. like, you know, what their choices of food, or whether they're drinking, or whether they're self-sabotaging, which means all they're ready to do, they're just so used to quitting, or so used to giving up, or so used to, you know, like as women do this all the time. Oh, I fell off the wagon for Christmas, and oh, I've got to get back onto it. And they like, this is a comment that comes up all the time. People are like, oh yeah, I just have to get started again on Monday. Okay, but there's underlying problems that stopped you from staying consistent anyway. And those are what we dig into. So the protocols are all the same, differs per person because their life experience is different.
Mhm.
And then we're able to like really dig in with each person and let them like have their own aha moments. So all we're doing is guiding them through figuring out what it was that got them to this space now when they're like in their 50s or 60s or 70s, because this is where it really starts to show all the damage that's been done. It starts to really show on your body.
Yeah, so true.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm glad that you guys are doing that, and I think it's really helpful because yeah, you can move to Costa Rica and still be full of anxiety for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great even more because now you're outside of your comfort zone, and you know things are all different. So like I just think even moving is going to bring a lot of that stuff even more up. And I think it's stuff that we all deal with. Like we've all had past traumas, no matter how big or small. We all have things we are working on, and this is I think this is perfect. If someone is starting a new chapter, why not start on this part too? Because this is actually the time in your life where it's probably going to start to come up more anyways. And hopefully slower pace of life. So now is the perfect time to actually be working on it.
Yeah. Lisa said when I moved down here, Costa Rica would kick me in the butt. She was not wrong.
I always say that Costa Rica will either chew you up or spit you out, or it'll just chew you up. And then you're like, okay,
now what? Yeah. So that's where we come in when the part is like, now what? Now what do we do? It's it's quite enlightening being down here and really having the time and the energy that's here to really look in at yourself to go, oh, this is what I've been avoiding. Oh, so this is where we help guide people through when they're starting to like see all this stuff come up, and they're just like, now this is the space. This is the space to do it. So
yes, I remember having lots of crises after I'd moved, of like just internal crises, and it was a big time of reflection. Within that first year, it was a big one.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
There's a lot of crying that I've had in the last 6 months.
I had a journal. I have a lot of things in that journal. I was like, I'm so confused. I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah,
that's so true. That's so true. The first year was just like, for me, it was just like, and again too, like same thing, like the journaling, and you know, then asking, like everything feeling out of control, even though it wasn't out of control, but it felt like it was out of control. And you know, then just kind of regaining that. And again too, it went right back to then internally, like what's coming up for me? Why do I feel this way? Let's dive in deeper. And and that's really what you have to do. That's the key there to help you move forward and keep progressing in your life, you know, to even touch, like what we said, the primary symptoms that a lot of people complain about, you know, the internal stuff, the internal psychology, like Coach Penny said, has to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Which is the gap that we've figured it out. Like, you know, we watch 7 years and we watch women repeat the same cycle over and over and over and lose the same 15, 20 pounds over and over and over. And they're wondering over the course of like 10, 15 years. And they're wondering, why am I just not losing weight permanently? Well, you're missing the gap, and the gap's here. Like it's all this that's inside. And without addressing that, they're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over, which is the definition of insanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are working together. It sounds like an amazing program. Is there anything else that you guys want to add? And I'm going to have, you know, your information down below, the best way to get in touch with you guys. I think this is awesome. And I love to hear, you know, people we've helped move. I love to hear what you guys are up to. And it's so cool how creative and how your life can take different turns into doing different things that maybe you didn't expect. So it's really great.
Yeah. Did you? I was out for most of this. Did you talk about the yoga retreats?
No, I haven't. We haven't done that yet. So go ahead.
So very quickly, we are hosting at the end of every month, starting in March, heart-centered retreats here in Pilas. And we're collaborating with Lou down the street who owns the Honeybee. So we're doing, helping her build, we're building, and it's, sorry, cut out again, right? So 2 nights, 3 days, heart-centered yoga retreat where we'll focus on yoga and a little mindset work and some nutritional factors of eating right for your body or something like that. And then fireside chats and just time for women to sit, reflect, and kind of dig into who they are, what they want, and where they want to go forward and how they want to go forward in the next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll have
that too. Oh, it's really cool that they're also just like 2 nights. Like that's something I could come do, Oh, perfect. It's not a whole week long. Or maybe you guys will have ones in the future that are longer, but I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's I feel like a lot of expats that we've connected with, and this is another reason, one of the reasons why, essentially when we left Canada, one of the biggest things that we wanted to do was be able to create community. And we're really now starting to see that roll out as the leaders in that. And again, thanks to Sarah Elena, you brought us here and you helped us see that vision. And as we're doing this and as we're building it, one of the things that we obviously see amongst the expats, and you 100% see it yourself, Sarah, but is the connection, like connecting people of the similar psychographs and bringing those people together so that they can then build out their own friendships and communities. And we've seen that with some of our own members, the expats. I mean, mind you, because we have North American clients that live up north as well, but we have the expats here, and then the expats who are, doing our group coaching or in our free group. They're connecting. This is so cool. They connect. They're making friends, and then they're going off and doing their own things. And what's cool about this is that these people, these clients, are working on themselves, and then they connect with these other people that are doing the same things, and then it creates that similar community where they can help each other grow and support one another in a healthy, valued way. And that's what's exciting for us.
Yeah, that's amazing. Very important. Very important. Well, okay. Well, I'm going to have all your information down below, and I appreciate you guys sharing. I think this is really important.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to have the link to your free group down below too. I think I'm in that group as well, and I like seeing the updates in there. And looking forward to seeing what else you guys get up to and stay updated.
Yeah, we will for sure, and we'll send everything off to you so that you've got the list of goodies to put up.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for listening.
All right. Okay, well, we'll see you guys in the next video. If this is your first video, make sure to go check out the rest of the channel. I have lots of tips for moving, other interviews like this one of just, people and their experiences and what they're doing here. So these are definitely my favorite kind of videos to do. So thanks for coming on again, guys.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.